Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Cielum.
Cody, it was such a great little break from the show that we had for both of us. Hope you enjoyed your little time away.
For sure.
Definitely.
I definitely just took the time. And I mean, with all the stuff around, with the World Cup mainly, and all the other stuff, that's now nice to be back here. We kind of give a recap of like all of the things that have happened here in the last week or so, because a lot has happened.
Yeah, and we are going to get started with that right now. Obviously, as some of what happened yesterday, Joshua Jefferson gets drafted.
Yep. So Joshua Jefferson becomes the first Iowa State Cyclone to be drafted in the first round since Tyrese Halliburton. Originally, Joshua Jefferson was drafted to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which would have been like a really nice, convenient thing for me because I would have been able to go see him. But he was traded to the Brooklyn Nets in a trade that did also give the Brooklyn Nets Julius Randle. In exchange, it gave Minnesota the 33rd overall pick and I believe a couple of 2027 draft picks. So Joshua Jefferson will be heading out east to play for the Brooklyn Nets. And I know a certain Dylan Kuhn is happy about that.
For sure. Yeah, he's definitely going to be elated for that.
Yeah. I was like, I was watching the live, like the light cast, and yeah, Dylan was, that's probably the one thing he was happy about.
Right.
And then also, kind of real quick to kind of and speaking of Iowa State, as part of the Big 12, the Big 12 had the most players drafted in the first round by conference. You had, with 9 players of total, obviously you had the 1-2 punch combination of AJ DeBonsa and Darren Peterson, which I honestly think was no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kingston Flemings going to Atlanta. And real quick, I have to say, for those who watched the draft, AJ DeBonsa went to Washington and Darren Peterson went to Utah. So at the 1-2, Kingston Flemings went 8th to the Atlanta Hawks. Braden Burries goes 10th to the from Arizona to Milwaukee. And speaking of Milwaukee, they also traded Giannis Antetokounmpo to Miami and also include Bobby Portis. And in exchange, Milwaukee got Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, and a bunch of other picks. So, I mean, that was a blockbuster trade in terms of NBA. But back to the Big 12, continue from Braden Burries. You had Christian Anderson heading to Charlotte from Texas Tech University. You then had Cameron Carr head to the the current NBA champion New York Knicks, but was then traded to the LA Lakers. So Cameron Carr will be joining LeBron James. And then Chris Sanak heads to Boston from Houston.
I like that place.
Yep. And then for the final pick in the first round, Koa Pete from Arizona was drafted by the Mavericks, but was traded to the Phoenix Suns.
So he will be playing once again in Arizona. So nice for him to stay in state.
Yep, you ain't got to go too far. All right, and then tonight will be round 2 of the NBA draft. Now, one of the players, obviously for us, would be Taman Lipsy. Now, Taman Lipsy, I've been seeing he's been somebody who could be a late second round pick because he wasn't originally supposed to be anywhere near the draft, but with the workouts that he had, Taman Lipsy might have a shot at going as a late second round pick. And one of the teams I think of would be the Golden State Warriors. I think that would
be very nice.
Yeah, he had Taman Lipsy had those workouts with the Golden State Warriors, and I think that really helped boost his draft stock. And I mean, I guess if it was for you, would you want Taman Lipsy on the Chicago Bulls?
For sure, especially now that we're in a new regime. I'd love to see any type of Iowa State player on the Bulls.
Yeah,
to be selfish, because there's probably a good chance I get their jersey.
Yeah, I was disappointed when Minnesota traded away the 28th pick, and it just so happened to be Joshua Jefferson. I'm like, are you serious? I was like, brother, why?
You're like, you missed the plot, man. Oh, you would have had so many Iowa State people come up.
With Jefferson jerseys, that would have been that would have been really nice. And it's like what, a 3-hour drive up to Minneapolis. So
Mhm.
you would have gotten that fan support massively for Minnesota. And I think honestly, Joshua Jefferson would have fit really like if I've just had a dream of putting him with Anthony Edwards.
That would be nice.
Nice
A little
little
pick and
yeah.
pop.
Yeah, and the versatility of Joshua Jefferson. But I mean, Joshua Jefferson is one of the examples of the like I think this is a big thing. And real quick, obviously, I have to mention alongside Joshua Jefferson, Bennett Sturts. He got drafted 16th overall originally to the Grizzlies, but in a trade, he's now an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Yeah, so I don't know how you feel about that.
That yeah, he went 16th. So yeah, I mean, we figured that he was going to get drafted. We just didn't know exactly where. So congrats to him. So I
Former
think
Drake
that's
Bulldog legend.
your former Drake Bulldog legend. I mean, I think that's a good. I really think that's a good spot for him, to be honest,
Hmm.
in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A- And I think, yeah, this is like kind of entailing of like both guys kind of maybe like having differing paths, but kind of like similar stories where like they went from nowhere near the first round of the NBA to both being first round draft picks. And
Hmm.
everybody knows Bennett Sturt's story and Josh Jefferson's story. I mean, he comes in Iowa State from St. Mary's as like nobody thought of him as a first round pick, but Joshua Jefferson in his 2 years at Iowa State turned himself
Right.
into a first round draft pick. And I think that's just something that TJ Otzelberger can use when it comes to recruiting. And I speak of recruiting, about an hour ago, Iowa State managed to land Josiah Harrington in commitment. And this was a guy that I would like that I think Iowa State was targeting. So he's a 6'5", I think with guard slash forward from North Scott High School, so in state. So T. Jotzenberg gets a massive piece for the class. I think what was it, class of 27?
Yeah, it costs 27. So I mean, this class 27 class coming along, I believe, is still top 5 in the nation in recruiting. Also, just to go back to the Joshua Jefferson draft contract via sport track, 4 years, $15 million. So he is going to be a very, very rich man.
Yeah, and I believe, yeah, because he is a first round draft pick, that like that's guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sets itself right up. And so, yeah, I think, and I'm curious, like now I'll probably have to follow the Brooklyn Nets strictly for this, but I, I wonder how many Iowa State fans are going to buy Joshua Jefferson Brooklyn Nets jerseys.
I probably would buy one.
I would consider it. I mean, they're black and white, so it's not too great. Like, I don't know. It's like how much you can do with it, but
I
I,
mean, look, bro, if for the whiteout game, you could wear that, and for the whiteout game.
yeah, fair enough. So that was like kind of our draft talk. And I mean, in about 10 minutes, round two will be happening. So I'm just probably going to put that on my screen and just kind of follow that along while we kind of talk here.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's in the second part, we have moved on. You guys, obviously, you've heard it. Everybody else has heard it. The wait is finally over. Iowa State finally sells beer. The slobs have finally won out.
We won the war, but at what cost? The fact it's like I literally said this. It's as soon as I graduate, of course they're gonna sell beer. So I don't. I was like, it wasn't. I don't know what I did, but whatever I did, it must have pissed them off. I guess. I don't know what I did, but anyways, yeah, this is a big win for Iowa State and overall the fan experience because this has been something that for years we had been asking for. And with the landscape of college sports, we knew that this, like, I think every fan knew that this would have been some sort of like revenue stream. And for one reason or another, Iowa State Athletics didn't pull the trigger, whether it was Pollard or it was Wendy Winterstein. I've seen former president Wendy Winterstein, as I've seen some people have thrown out. But I mean, with the new president and kind of the emphasis on athletics, I think that kind of really influenced this move. But some of the important keynotes from this press release regarding the sale of athletics, athletic director Jamie Pollard cited uncertainty and significant financial pressures from rapidly increasing costs as a part of this move. And the senior associate athletic director, Chris Jorgensen, also said it's been something we've looked at a lot of times over several years and looked at their fellow peers. And now that they're moving to this, and the letters in that letter one big change included is going to be that fans will no longer be able to leave Jack Trice Stadium and re-enter at any point during the game. So no longer you're going to be allowed to leave at halftime and re-enter the stadium, which is something that I think I've noticed over the past few years that's kind of killed the atmosphere. It's just all the fans that have like left at halftime and like come back and like in that third quarter, it looks bad. Like I know
I
I
agree.
make jokes about Suka, but whatever, they're whatever. But it looks even worse when you see like the regular fans that leave at halftime because they aren't able to have a beer in the stadium. And then one other note too, Pollard's letter said beer, wine, and prepackaged ready to drink cocktails will all be sold, and these will all be in the north and south ends of the stadium. And they'll be like it'll kind of be a little bit like the concerts that we've had at Jack Trice Stadium when it comes to the East and West concession concourses where it's just portable. And I also saw too that students of age will be allowed to bring alcohol in the student section, but you can't bring it like you can't have it like on you when you enter the stadium. You have to buy it or whatever.
Okay, this is interesting. I have a few thoughts. Obviously, there are some people who were upset about this. I get the reason why you would be upset about this, but like, look, this is what happens when you want alcohol. Like, this was bound to happen. This is what other teams do. Like when you start selling alcohol. Like other squad, I mean, other people, like we're like one of the other people that like people that let people go back out to the stadium and do that and drink. We want to keep the atmosphere at a good level when the team comes back out on the field, and this is sort of that give and take that that you are have to be willing to give up.
Yeah, and I mean, this had like this. I know. I think something too is like I think I've seen somewhere that like apparently the construction for for Side Town is being pushed back to 2028 and probably the selling of alcohol is probably a way to get money to kind of make up for it because with the new like with the change in college athletics and then obviously Iowa State getting a new president and all the changes recently, I bet that's why they had to push the date back to Side Town. Because I mean, I've been a little critical. It's like why isn't anything being built in Side Town? And now I have like some level of understanding as to why it's delayed. But I mean, still,
Right. Because now it looks like it's going to be pushed back to 2028 now.
allegedly, I mean, I'm in some Iowa State group chats, and that's been one of the things that has been thrown around. So I would have to look for somewhere to confirm it, but it is something that has been rumored within the Iowa State space.
Yes. So yeah, that's that development right there. And then we also got to talk about another former Iowa State great, Akeem Butler. This was a while ago. Akeem Butler has been signed by the Broncos. Hopefully, this time around, it will work well for him.
Yeah, and I believe he does have a connection with like I think it was like a coach on the Broncos.
I believe so. Yeah, one of the other coaches that used to be there.
Yeah, can't think of the name off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, hopefully Hakeem Butler's been bowling in the with the St. Louis Battlehawks for such a long time, and he never got like that full chance to really like show off his talents at the NFL level. But hopefully this time around he can finally stick. He's been literally tearing up with the St. Louis Battlehawks for so long. Like at some point he's got to be like he's got to find a way to break through and get it and stay on an NFL roster.
Yeah, I know one of the things that like was like plaguing him because remember he was a top 100 pick in the 2019 draft by the Arizona Cardinals. One of the things that like I know scouts and stuff and Scott were saying about him is that he makes the absolutely amazing catches, but if you remember from his time here, some of the easy catches he wasn't able to make. So maybe that's something that he's learned and added to his skill set.
Hmm.
So hopefully, just for him, it would be nice to see him stick in the league and a place like Denver, especially with a guy like Bo Nix who is on the come up and if he wasn't hurt, probably would have sent the Broncos to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And obviously, we got to talk about the thing that has really been a part of NFL and college circles. Man, we got to talk about the Brendan Sorsby saga because now it's gotten to a place to where it's almost basically become comedy, honestly. Like let's really really talk about this because this is a guy who, you know, was found that to gamble $90,000. Most of it was found at his time in Indiana. There was some time at Cincinnati. He was able to get a ruling in favor at Texas Tech, but due to fighting with a fight back from the conference and the Big 12, he ended up going and applying for the supplemental draft for 2026. However, the NFL denied that because it was only days away and there wasn't sufficient information for the NFL to, you know, apply and develop it. And then the NFL just came storming back and they basically just canceled the entire 2026 supplemental draft and just told them to get ready for the 2027 draft. And then they are now countersuing the NFL and the NFL Players Association, which to me doesn't really make sense because he's not a player, and I don't. And to me, this is not a good thing, especially when you're trying to be a player in a league, and especially from an NFL and GM standpoint. I don't know if this is a really really good look for you.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing has just been too drawn out, and I mean, there's like all the baggage, whatever. But I mean, honestly, at this point, this has just become comedy because it all starts with obviously the discovery that Brendan Scoresby had put like what 40 bets, totaling $90,000, including games that he literally played in, and then gets that ruling, and then the Texas court, I think there was what in Dallas, ruled that he was eligible, and then you get the Big 12 basically putting essentially the ban hammer down, putting their 10 toes down. Then you have him trying to countersue. Like I didn't expect this drama to occur, and me personally, I still don't understand why go through all this trouble for a guy like Sorsby. Like a guy like he's good, but he's not he's not like, to me at least, not at the level where you do all this to have him play because he really did not like, if you look at his Novembers, they're bad. Like literally Cincinnati, I think heading November was in the top 25. Then they lose four straight to end the year.
Well, and there was like an NFL show that I was like listening to, and they were just breaking him down. A scout, Dave Burglar, was a well-known scout from the Athletic. They basically broke down his tape, and
Mhm.
they really broke him down. Like, there's some stuff that he likes, but there's still some stuff that he needs to work on.
Yeah.
And especially he probably could have got a decent grade in this draft in 2027 draft, or at least he probably should have just came out for this draft for 2026 because he probably would have at least been at least a top 70 pick probably in this draft. But now, I mean, they got to wait an entire year. I don't know if he's gonna maybe go the JUCO route because I feel like that's probably the only way he's gonna play.
Just pull the Hunter Deckers.
Yeah, go somewhere. I think Iowa Western already has a quarterback, but maybe go somewhere, apply, start there, and then see what you can do, and then maybe uh, go to a pro day and then go
Future
to the draft next year.
Iowa Western starting quarterback Brendan Sorsby.
That'd be hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah. And but just overall, it's just not like this whole thing, and still somewhere, somewhere like obviously this whole thing has just left me like kind of bitter because it's like Texas Tech has literally, I think they've become like probably the most hated team in all of in all of college football now because of this whole like ordeal and whatnot, and the way like the Texas Tech themselves handled it, because it's like they come out and that whole like 21-minute video that they basically put out, I'm like, no, just no, nobody's buying into your shtick, nobody's buying into your bullshit. Like,
Right,
what are you even trying to do?
exactly. Well, I mean, it's absolutely amazing to me that they're gonna try and justify that, like, and they're like, "Oh, well, we made this conference more relevant." I'm like, "That no, you
As
didn't."
fast as you made the conference relevant, you made us look like a joke getting blanked by Oregon.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you want to make somebody who made the conference relevant, let's talk about Arizona State the year before, who basically got robbed because Texas should have lost, and they would have made to
Ye-
the a semifinal.
Yeah,
Now, Arizona State definitely represented this conference well.
and I think still what, like, at least with the ratings, Iowa State's still like the top team, like at least from like, last year, because even with like our relatively down year, we were still like the top viewed team in the whole conference.
Exactly. That's my point. Like, we're the one that we're the top view team in the conference. People like to watch us, but now you win a conference title in what, over 30 years, and now you think that you're like the main thing. No, you're not. Now you can finally, play with the big boys now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this certainly is not the only thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to the NCAA, because now we had the recent ruling of the age like kind of thing, where it's officially 5 years of eligibility in 5 years. It's the start of your first semester of college, or when you turn 19 or something like that. So you're getting rid basically of all the red shirts, medical red shirts, and et cetera. And literally less than 24 hours later, a group of college basketball players filed lawsuit in the state of Ohio, claiming the new age-based model unfairly shuts them out of competition, and this is referring to the class of 2022.
Yeah, this one, unfortunately, I think that this is not gonna pass. This is gonna not gonna hold up in court. Unfortunately, as much as like we want this to, there's probably a little bit of language in there that won't hold up.
Mhm.
More like law language that won't hold up in court. So we'll see if this is constitutional or not constitutional. Yeah. So it should be interesting to see if we get more like lawsuits coming, because this is something that's not going to be set in stone, but should be interesting.
Mhm. And just give a little bit of context. This new like so this the Division One cabinet, this came was yeah yesterday with this new ruling. It basically like the clock for this like new age based model starts upon initial full enrollment of college, so your first semester in college, or at the beginning of the academic year following the student athlete turning 19,
Hmm.
whichever one comes first. And it's meant to eliminate the need for red shirts waivers. And I mean, yeah, like this was a needed change after all the red shirts and all the waivers that so many of these people were trying to like get and whatnot. And we saw like 25, 26 year olds still playing like still in college athletics. So
Hmm.
finally can get rid of that. And I'm like, geez, you have literal grown adults. Like there's the joke where like, I think I was like watching the amount of players that got drafted in the NBA. I got to witness like, I don't know how many of them, like at least like at least five of them. It probably is double digits because of the teams I saw like during my 4 years. I'm like, wait, what? How are you
Exactly.
still like? It's the whole thing of how are you still like how are you still playing college ball?
That's what I was. That's my point exactly. Like, at some point, you got to go get a job.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But I mean, this ruling is huge, and like for like, I think this is a step in a direction for college athletics to really like kind of like settle everything down. But
Hmm.
hopefully, this is like working towards like a positive end, because who knows, this could easily go the other way.
Yeah, exactly. So we will have to see, but definitely wanted to get back on here and get a show out for you guys. We're going to be back to doing 2 shows a week starting next week.
Hmm. Yeah,
Obviously, yeah. Go ahead.
real quick. Also, media days. I think I've been seeing some stuff now for media days, and now like kind of in the new like kind of like athletics year, because I saw some from athletes for Iowa State soccer, then Iowa State volleyball, and I low key want to like obviously keep up with volleyball because that's like a sport I know I really want to hope be able to talk about more once that train gets going, and also softball's picked up some transfers. So overall, it's we're getting like probably once we get what past like 4th of July, past like media
Hmm.
days, that's when things are really gonna start picking up. But I mean, in the meantime, I'm being held we're being fed well with MLB, and also the World Cup. I mean, this has been the biggest thing that's been going on for the past couple of weeks. So, what are your thoughts like this edition of the World Cup?
World Cup has been absolutely amazing. I know everybody just the discourse between the Europeans online and the Americans, all the
It's
discourse.
mostly the English. It's mostly England.
Yeah, the
It's the
English.
English fans and the Australian fans. For some reason, those 2 hate us, but everybody else loves America. Like, they all, like, love seeing, like, America. Have you been, like, seeing all the videos of, like, all the international fans, like,
Mm-hmm.
going to, like, a Bass Pro Shop, a Buc-ee's, having Texas barbecue, and even, like, in Mexico, dear God, that has been a Mexico and the US have been, great places for these fans, but man, I haven't been seeing much about the Canadians, and I've heard not so great things about Canada, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, like Mexico and America and the US have been great hosts. Canada, not so much, from what I've heard. But yeah, man, it's been great, mainly just for the fact that like the US has done something that it hasn't done in their 96-year history, which is win their first 2 games
Hmm.
pretty convincingly at that 4-1 over Paraguay and then 2-0 over Australia. And now the talk is, who are you going to play in this last game? I know Tyler Adams, I believe he is a forward.
Yeah, I
He,
think forward or midfielder. But anyways, I think the plan. I would say this: if I was Mauricio Pochettino, the head coach for the U.S. men's national team, you don't play anybody that's on a yellow card because if they do pick up a second yellow, they would be suspended for the next matchup. So I think the U.S. has already locked up their group. They've already locked up the first, like, the top spot in the group. So they're going to play. Oh well, I think now it's Bosnia essentially
mm-hmm.
as but I think the U.S. like they've got the group locked up. They probably don't need to do anything. They don't probably want to risk anything to like injuries and things like that. So you're probably gonna now play like Christian Pulisic because he's like still dealing with stuff. And then anybody who's on like a yellow card, you don't want to risk them getting suspended for the next game. And I think that's the plan that I would have. So, but generally speaking, the U.S. actually I think has a really good shot because I think I saw like because their path to the quarterfinals is one of the easier paths that I've been seeing because they don't
Mm-hmm.
have to play like any of the powerhouses till the quarterfinal. In that case, it would be a hypothetical matchup against Spain.
Yeah, that would be that Amelia Mall and the other stars on Spain. That
Yeah.
would be an interesting matchup.
Hmm.
So I guess we'll have to see. But if you want to bet on that or baseball, we have our
Our
presenting sponsor, FanDuel. Geez, sorry guys. Yeah, FanDuel, where you can go and make bets and do same game parlays.
Yep. So obviously you have a lot of like you still have there's a bunch of World Cup parlays, and I mean there's still those odds, and I mean even tonight we've got a couple of matchups where it's Group A. It is Mexico against Czechia, and then South Korea against South Africa, or excuse me, Republic of Korea versus South Africa. And I mean, I don't know if you have those odds, but presumably the Mexicans have really good odds just because of it being in Mexico. Actually, I could pull it up right now and take a look. So right now, Korea is actually a minus 155. Republic of South Africa to win is plus 470, and a tie and a draw would be plus 270. And then Mexico is a minus 130 favorite. Czechia, the plus 320 underdog. And a draw would be plus 310. And to still keep up with this World Cup, I would have to. There's a lot of like stuff here. And so let's see. Yeah, the men's World Cup winner, France, is the odds-on favorite to win this whole tournament at plus 360, followed by plus 500 for Spain, plus 600 for a repeat for Argentina, and then plus 650 for England to finally bring it back home, like for it to finally come home.
Now that is interesting. And we're gonna. I want to look at for to reach the final. Oh yeah, you just read that. But yeah, those are pretty good odds. Germany is plus 600. Let's look at the United States odds, plus 1,300 basically. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yep. Oh, actually, I think it was plus 3,000. Yeah, we have the same odds as Norway, who has one of the best players in the world, Erling Haaland. Dude, the Norwegian fans have been so fun to watch, especially the Viking row. That has been such a fun
Ooh,
thing.
ooh,
That's been
ooh.
great. That's been great. So in general, yeah, a lot of things as tournament winners, and then so you definitely like can have like just there's a lot of things you can bet on, and I mean the sports equinox is just a beautiful thing.
It sure is. So make sure if you want to make your bets, put your bets on FanDuel. All right, guys, we are going to head out today. Thank you guys for listening to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. A few things before we go. Follow us on social media: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. Twitch handle is Believe in ISU 2025. If you want to follow Cody on Instagram or on Twitter, you can be found at Tia Propaganda. And if you want to find me at SciTi Guy 1992. For Tyler Carter,
And for Cody Van Salem,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
go Cyclones.